To pray, there's no angels where I go. Only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Kirusho here. Now, sorry for not posting a second video yesterday. I sort of laid down for a minute to try and relax, and I fell asleep. I'm gonna try not to do that again today. So let us at least begin. I was gonna upload Ghoul today, that was my plan, but I guess that's gonna be tomorrow, or later. Since I don't want to leave you guys off on a cliffhanger. Now, let's begin. Our story begins with Izuku. It has been roughly 2 weeks since he has regained consciousness. Now, he has been told little things about the world. The doctors are still trying to study and observe his behavior. Everything he exhibits seems to be somewhat normal. However, it's usually his behavior whenever people bring up All Might, or this fictional character he has made up. The boy seems to be quite interested in what anyone has to say whenever they mention his name. However, whenever they do explain that there's no All Might, the boy seems quite distressed. Many people ask him questions if Midoriya can see All Might, if he's in the room. Midoriya's simple answers being that he is not. All Might is a pro hero and he is the number 1. Endeavor is the number 2. That being seen as weird. That is quite out of the norm. Then again, so is what the kid did. Now, after 1 month, Midoriya is finally let out of observation, I guess you can call it. They decided to stop trying to study his behavior, getting him out of a padded cell, and moved into a proper room in the hospital. However, Midoriya does have to deal with the fact that he sort of has a locked door. The door is different than everyone else's, along with the area around it. It seems to be heavily guarded. So, whatever is going on, it is quite the oddity. Now, Midoriya is in his room, and he is writing down a few things, trying to understand them, and, well, keeping himself sane. Since, apparently, from what he's heard, he was brought here after a traumatic event. He's thinking that that event must be the day back whenever the villain was at his home. He's partially right. However, he is missing something. Now, let us cut to a doctor's explanation. Roughly a couple or a few days later. Now, let us start there. The doctor has walked into the room and has sat Midoriya down, handing him a shoebox of items. Now, Midoriya reluctantly takes the box and begins to look through it. He sees quite a few things. It seems to be a piece of what he thought was his All Might onesie. However, now it sports flames. And instead of an All Might action figure, there's an Endeavor one. There is quite a few, and the costume seems to be a little bit different. Along with that, it seems that there's a picture of his dad and his mother. Kinda surprising him for a second. He's in the picture too. However, the part where his mother should be is very, very faded and worn. At least he thinks it is. If All Might doesn't exist and there's something wrong with everything and his mom doesn't exist, then this picture shouldn't. Then again, he can't even make out his mother's face, let alone any part of her body. You can barely even see her left hand, and barely even part of her arm. It is that faded. Midoriya does ask the doctor about his father, wanting to know where he is, thinking for a second that his father may not exist either. To which the doctor tells Midoriya that his father, he works for the Yaoyorozu Corporation. Him kinda confused, asking if that is a place overseas. To which the doctor replies, no. In fact, that is a place right here in town. Your father's been very busy, young man. In fact, I'd say that he's done a lot for you. The medical treatment that you've been receiving here, it's sort of difficult to explain. Everything that goes on and everything we do is sort of provided by the hospital. And, well, your father does have to pay some expenses. And it's sort of hard to say. But I believe I can at least start you off with, well, a few things. First off, can you state your name and your quirk? My name is Azuka Midoriya. And, well, I've tried using my quirk, but I can't really figure it out. I see. The doctor just marking in a question mark, wondering if Midoriya has kept his reality bending abilities. Now, the quirk suppressant he took this morning should still be in place. Midoriya is simply just saying that he's tried using his quirk, but he doesn't understand it. It doesn't seem to cooperate. He feels something, but it's not there. I see. Well, please continue on. Well, I remember being at school and showing off my quirk. I did something. Then I caused some sort of boom? I see. The doctor writing that down, asking Midoriya exactly where did this boom occur. Midoriya trying to focus, closing his eyes and taking in a deep breath. He remembers children laughing, and a playground, and what sounds like a teacher. Someone that he sort of remembers. Simply saying that it must have happened at his school. From trying to remember, he sees that. Ah, I see. So, anything else? Not really? I'm still sort of confused. What am I supposed to be remembering? I see. Well, I believe that you should at least know something. How old do you think you are, young man? Um, I don't know. Okay. The man writing down Midoriya's age. He is currently 13 years old. Before he just begins an explanation, sitting down the board next to him, explaining to Midoriya that his abilities are very, very unique. And in fact, they were considered to be very powerful whenever they first found out about them. Whenever I was at school, right? I'm sorry, young man. No. Whenever you were born. Born? Yes. At least, we're trying to find records. Things are weird and wrong. There's a birth certificate, but there's no evidence of your birth. There's no doctors. The doctor who signed it doesn't remember it. And even some of the nurses that were present. Hell. That's the thing that we're trying to figure out. Yet, it's sort of odd. They only remember your caretakers always being there. My who? Your caretakers. Someone raised you in place of your mother. We believe that it was, well, Mitsuki Bakugo and Bakugo Katsuki's father. Do you remember who Bakugo Katsuki is? Um, I believe so, yes. Okay. Now, I'm going to try and explain it. The man taking off his glasses, sitting on the board, and, well, clicking his pen and putting it into his pockets. Simply saying to Midoriya that this is going to be something that he puts down off the record. Now, as a very young boy or baby, you begin to use your quirk. At the time, your parents thought it was some sort of illusion based ability. That is what we know from your father's perspective. He thought it was some form of illusions, until one day he reached his hand out and touched one. The creature that he touched, well, it was real. It felt real. Your father was sort of surprised by that. And then there was the fact that whenever you started getting older, you did other things. You began to transmute matter and do more and more, showing off stranger abilities. Your father even recalls you being able to fly. That was not your initial quirk, so he knew it was something more. That is whenever he took you to the quirk doctor and got you diagnosed again, just to make sure he wasn't losing his mind. He found out that you had the ability to warp things around you, warp reality. And, well, yeah. Quite a lot of people heard about you. You became very famous overnight. Then, well, a couple days later, the incident occurred. A villain, or I'm not too sure what happened, were trying to think it was a villain attack. The area that was destroyed sort of brings pieces back together. Destroyed? Did I hurt anyone? No, no. Well, actually, we don't know. Listen, I'm already telling you far more than I should be. So I'll just end off with this. Everyone who was inside the building, they were able to get out. Or at least we believe it was everyone. Many people don't know, but they believe that there's someone that is missing. They stated that there was more residents, and there was a lot of commotion, along with what sounded like a struggle. So, we believe that there was a villain attack and you used your ability on a monumental scale. And, well, you are found down the street and halfway catatonic. Or, well, your brainwaves seem to really add up. You seem to be going into overdrive. And that is whenever we brought you to the facility. However, that was one of the worst things. From up till the age of 8 years old to 4 years old, you quickly became a bigger problem. Your little impractical jokes were seen as funny and odd. You would whisk away people and bring them back. Until we tried asking you questions. You seemed very distressed and angry. That was whenever we had to try and subdue you. And you led to quite a lot of people getting hurt. You simply stated that you can fix this, and make sure it doesn't happen again, like last time. We found that a bit odd. And luckily, one of our people were able to subdue you. They knocked you out with some, well, drugs, like believe I could just say it. After that, more and more tests were ran, and we tried more and more methods of treatments. You were getting more and more out of control, and since you destroyed an entire building and place in reality, the government wanted to take you in, run more experiments on you. After that happened, well, they did. And you destroyed an entire government facility. Everyone's heads all around you were blown up and destroyed. And the final procedure they performed on you, basically, we thought killed you. This is confusing Midoriya, as the doctor pulls out his phone, opens the camera and shows it to Midoriya. Midoriya looking at his face. Directly on the right side of his head and the left side of his head are two scars. Midoriya bringing his hands up and feeling these areas. The doctor stating that they believe that the military, or, well, the government, they simply lobotomized you. There's no way around that. They couldn't contain you. So, they wanted to protect everyone. Especially because they may have or may not have tried to threaten other countries with you. However, your quirk being so unbelievable, other countries didn't believe you. Well, believe them. So, you sort of became a rumor. Now, with that being said, Midoriya cuts the doctor off, asking the doctor, what does that mean? Is there anything else that he can tell him about his house, the place that he destroyed? Not really. In fact, after you came to, more and more things begin to be rebuilt. We believe that since you're back in your mental capabilities, you're beginning to rebuild reality, even right now as we speak. Really? But what about my quirk? I can't use it. Actually, that's another thing. We're not too sure you should use your quirk. It's very dangerous. And if you do, you might become a threat again and paint another target on your back. But I want to be a hero. And we understand that, young man. However, it was sort of a weird situation. In fact, we were only supposed to monitor you and help you out with basic essentials. But since you're fully up and capable, you should be able to take a bit of a look around. Miss Chloe will be looking after you for now. If you need anything, do just call for her. And I believe that I should go now. The doctor getting up, picking up his clipboard and telling Midoriya that he told him far too much information. And, well, yes, it is a long story, and quite a convoluted one. Now, I believe that you should rest up. Therapy is going to be in an hour, and, well, medicine is going to be directly after lunch. Have a good night, young man. Or good day. Sorry. I'm trying to wrap my head around your brain functions. Now, the doctor does leave, going back to study Midoriya's unique brainwaves. They put him in an MRI machine and rescanned his brain. Things did seem different. Whenever they first got him here and tested him, he showed no higher brain functions. In fact, most of it seemed to be dormant. However, Midoriya's brain is sparking with life, with electricity and high functions. In fact, it's the highest functioning brain he has ever seen. He does want to share these results. However, he's not too sure why they wouldn't question it. Especially because you can see that some things were out of place at one point. There just seems to still be something. In fact, they believe that Midoriya regrew part of his frontal lobe, and that is why he may have gotten his brain functions back. Now, with that being said, I do believe that I can leave that off of there. And I believe that explains the story. Now, I do hope you guys enjoy the video and have an amazing night.